In an old town, right near the center of everything, there stood an old mansion. The locals whispered tales of strange noises and ghostly apparitions that haunted the old, decrepit mansion, but most had never dared to venture inside, save for one, a small child. No one knew whether the child lived there or simply enjoyed the company of ghosts, but every day they saw the small figure venture off the school bus and into the old house. One day, the child had turned up to the police station, crying and terrified. The police had sent in 2 cops, not knowing what else to do to ease the child's frantic crying. Reportedly, there had been a massacre. According to the child, the ghosts had been slaughtered. No one listening to the story fully believed the child, but still knew something must have happened. And so, the 2 ventured into the old house, not knowing what they would find. The interior of the house was a maze of creaking floorboards, peeling wallpaper, shattered windows. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and decay, and every corner seemed to hold a new terror. They walked quickly, their hearts racing with anticipation. As they crept deeper into the house, they noticed the unearthly silence. Locals would often complain about all the noise coming from the house, but now, there was nothing. Suddenly, the sound of something dragging along the floor, the scrape of nails against wood, a soft growling seemed to be coming from all around them. It startled them both terribly, but they pressed on, their flashlights illuminating the way. Then they saw it, the staircase that led to the attic. It lives in the ceiling, the child had told them between sobs. Suddenly, they heard a commotion from above. Rushing up the stairs, they were horrified to find what was inside the room. Nothing living, nothing undead, just scattered remains of what could only have been ghosts all around them. Blood and black goo everywhere. The people around them literally as pale as the dead. One officer tried to check for vitals on a specter that seemed to still be moving, only to find that he could not touch it. His hand went straight through. A bloodbath, he thought to himself. What was it the kid said? A massacre? That was about right. As they frantically searched for any sort of evidence, any sort of clue to try and figure out who had done this or how to go about bringing them to justice, they noticed that eerie silence again. It was unnatural, unholy. They did not see anything, but felt eyes on them just the same. The 2 looked at each other once and both nodded. They needed to get out. If the thing, whatever it was going to get them, it would have done so already. It was clearly only interested in the ghosts, those seemingly harmless ghosts whom the child had either lived with or befriended or both throughout the past few years. The thing would have gotten the child too had it been interested in anything else. But what was it? And why? What could have done this and how? Moreover, how were they to prosecute such a thing or even prove that it was some sort of crime? They would need a larger team to answer the last questions. Back at the police station, the child had been lulled to sleep by another officer after being given some food and a blanket. No one had claimed the child as theirs or even come in to report a child as missing. It seemed the haunted house was the child's home after all, and there was no adult supervision that came with that territory, unless you count ghosts. Thank you for listening and watching. All links and references are in the description below.